We arrived in Auckland around 7 p.m. after a 12-hour-long flight. So we were starving. We went to go get some dinner and look around the city. We saw the Sky Tower all beautifully lit up. But to be honest, after this walk around, we were so tired that we ended up just cutting the night short and getting straight into bed and refreshing ourselves for the next morning. We went for a nice swim in the morning since our hotel had a pool. We went to Starbucks after that and we got some coffee. It was really interesting because Starbucks had all of its autumn favorites out, and right now in Vancouver it's summer, so it was really weird to see that. We went to the food court for lunch and we got some dumplings and some noodles, and then we went on a day trip to Devonport. And Devonport is just a ferry ride away from Auckland. It only costs $4 to get there by boat, and we looked around this little seaside town. The plants in the north of New Zealand are super tropical, which I'm not used to, so we found all these beautiful big trees. We also went to this chocolate shop in Devonport that made these amazing chocolates. We got one specifically that was called Mango Passion Fruit, and it tasted super good. We also saw a bookstore in Devonport which had all these rare books, and basically this town was just full of cute shops everywhere. Devonport is also right on the water, and so it has a beautiful little beach. It was too cloudy to actually sunbathe, but we looked around for a little bit longer and then hopped back on the ferry so that we could get back to Auckland. So the next day was our second day in Auckland and our last day in Auckland, and we started out the day in a beautiful little cafe. I got an iced coffee with ice cream inside of it, and my mom got tea. The iced coffee was really good. Then we went to the University of Auckland to do a little bit of exploring. The one thing that I have to say about the University of Auckland is all the plants. Like, look at this aloe that I just found. Every single plant was beautiful. The gardens and the grounds of the university literally looked like a botanical garden, and it was amazing. We also saw this speaker's corner in a park where people can actually go and make announcements. There's like all these rules about people only spending 10 minutes there. And then this is St. Albert's Park. Again, there's so many trees, statues, and just gorgeous nature. Also, I found some fall leaves, so I had to throw these up just because I find it so amazing that it is fall in New Zealand right now. Then we ended up going to the library and looking around the art gallery a little bit until we ended the night at a comedy show. This is my first ever comedy show. I couldn't really film inside, but it was a lot of fun. So the next day we were leaving Auckland, so we went to go rent a car. Before we rented the car though, I had to try my first New Zealand kiwi, which was way bigger than the ones at home and really juicy, and go for a nice little pool dip before we left the hotel. So we ended up renting the car, which was actually a little bit scary because we were driving on the opposite side of the road, but I did get the hang of it eventually, and we were on our way. We made a pit stop at the Hamilton Gardens. The Hamilton Gardens were genuinely the most beautiful gardens I have seen in my life. They had all these different gardens from different parts of the world, and Maori gardens as well, which were really interesting to see, and the whole garden was so manicured and beautiful. Our next stop was Hobbiton, and Hobbiton is where The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings were filmed. And we went on a guided tour, which was awesome because our tour guide was actually doing a PhD in Lord of the Rings, which means he was super knowledgeable. We got to walk around the whole set, see all the Hobbit holes, and even go to the Green Dragon Inn and have a drink of cider. The whole thing was just absolutely amazing, and I loved seeing and hearing about all the little things that they did to make this set look realistic in the movie. On our next day in New Zealand, the heavens absolutely opened up and it started to pour, harder than I've ever seen it before. And I was really looking forward to a glowworm tour, but they called me and said that it got canceled because the caves had flooded. However, we called around and found one cave that was still operating, and you can see kind of what it looks like here. There was a strict no picture rule, but there was little lights on the cave ceiling, and it was really amazing to see. After the caves, we got some Indian food and then went to the grocery store. I love going to grocery stores in foreign countries because it's so interesting to see. Our next day, we were en route to Rotorua, which is the geothermal capital of New Zealand. But on our way, we got to see some kiwis. We went to the Otaringa Kiwi House. We weren't allowed to take pictures of the kiwis, but here are some birds that are a little bit less camera shy. After that, we stopped for lunch and got some steak pies, which are super popular in New Zealand, and some dessert. We finished off our day at the Polynesian Spa, which has different alkaline and acidic pools and was very relaxing. The next day we explored Te Pua, which is a Maori educational center, and it also has the biggest geyser in the southern hemisphere. We also watched a haka, which is a Maori welcome. After the haka was over, we explored the grounds a little bit more and then went to bunny mini golf, which was so cute. That night, we went to the Polynesian Spa again and then woke up early in the morning to walk around Lake Rotorua and the redwood forest. This was my favorite part of the trip. This huge lake was the temperature of a hot tub, and I went swimming in it. It was completely empty and it felt so natural. It was amazing. We also went to a bubbling mud pit. Afterwards, we went to another spa. This bubbling pool is actually what feeds into the spa pools, and again, it was very relaxing. We're sad to leave Rotorua, but today was our biggest driving day, so 3 hours to the beaches up north, which were spectacular, and we stopped for lunch on the way. We also went to Hot Water Beach after lunch, and this is where you can dig a big pit in the sand and it fills up with water, creating basically a natural hot tub on the beach. With our one day up north, we visited quite a few beaches and little beach towns that sit alongside them. But sadly, this was our last day and it was time to drive back to Auckland and catch our flight back to Vancouver. Thank you so much for watching.